All right, guys, welcome to the Nest, episode 2. I got a really good guest here today. This is one of my best friends. My man is an entrepreneur. One of the biggest, when it comes to marketing himself for a long time, and just someone who's been hustling and grinding in the city for so long, and who has made a name for himself. Like I said, a best friend of mine for 10 plus years. Um, you know, and
And we
um
getting old.
yeah, we are getting old. And just somebody who's super inspiring, somebody who has always show love to people, and constantly reinventing himself and finding himself. Here on the Nest podcast, guys, this is a space where we are intentionally working together as men, as women, as a community to build each other up, because there's not many places where we can come and talk about mental health or talk about some of the stuff that we're going through. And you've been asking me for months, even before you had went away a little bit, and we talked about getting you on the podcast. So
Mhm.
had to get it done. So everybody, welcome my man Shawnee Smooth on the podcast.
What's
Um,
going on, y'all?
yeah, so how we typically start, bro, is you're gonna just give a short little background about who you are and why exactly you want to have this conversation about mental health.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. I've been in sales for a long time. I found success at an early age in sales. Went into the auto industry, marketing industry, helped some businesses out with just investing in different types of businesses. Among other things. And the reason, kind of why I wanted to drop on this show is my buddy over here obviously is doing a big thing with mental health, and I feel that's a big thing. I feel like it's a big thing that is frowned upon when men show their feelings, when men talk about their feelings, and I feel like this is a outlet to show people that it's okay to be upset. It's okay for men to show their true colors. It's okay if you got a problem going on and you need help. There's
That's
nothing
right.
wrong with seeking, that type of help
Yep.
from from someone and being an outlet, because nobody actually has that. I had ran into a situation, unfortunately, and it was the tip of the iceberg, and I came crashing down.
Hmm.
And I thought, personally, if a person like me, who's viewed and has a perception on him in a lot of ways, frowned upon, good, bad, whatever it is, I feel as if I can come on here, speak on it, speak on what I feel. At the end of the day, it can make other people speak out as well.
Yeah, it's good. So basically, what I have taken from your journey, and just seeing, like, how relatable our stories have been in certain ways. um this is going to be a great conversation, because there's a lot of men who are similar, to us, who don't have the resources. They don't have the type of, like, friends that will either um like go through the fire with them, or even pull them out, right? They'll kind of just sit there and watch. So this is something to where, right, we bring other people on board, and we give them the resources, the tools, the support to uh, help them get through whatever it is they're going through, and kind of like like reveal, like, some of the stuff that sift and sort through whatever it is that they're feeling. You know what I'm saying? And uh, this is why we're here. So um, we could get into, like, your, like, early years, bro, of, like, you know finding yourself, and, like, what what type of young man you have built yourself up to, like, come today.
Mhm.
And like, how did that happen? Like, what
Uh,
did that look like for you?
at an early age, I I was always hungry. I always wanted more. I
Hmm.
didn't start in the best position. I didn't have the best upbringing. I have, an amazing mother, a wonderful mother,
Yeah, you
who I
do.
wouldn't trade for the world, who's
Yep.
done absolutely everything for me. And she was my backbone. And she did everything that she possibly could to raise me to be the best way, support me the best that she could. And with that was struck. Father wasn't around, and I lost him also at an early age. So my mom, shaped me to be a man. Growing over the years and learning, I always wanted to strive for more. I always had a perception. Perception's reality.
Hmm.
I always had a view bigger than most. Because of that, I put myself in positions to be successful. I put myself in positions to succeed and help people and grow. I wasn't the most humble person
Yeah.
growing up. I carried a chip on my shoulder
Yep.
for sure.
Where'd that come from?
I think that really came from the view of me. I was always, I had a painted perception on me,
Yeah.
and you have to become okay with not being liked. You
Mm-hmm.
can be a ray of sunshine,
Yeah.
and people are just used to rain.
Yeah.
And because of that, if you didn't know me, and when I walked into certain places, or how I carried myself, I had an opinion. I had an opinion based perception on me.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because the people that were closest to me knew my heart
Right.
and knew I'd give, my shirt off my back for absolutely anybody in need.
Yeah. So do you ever feel like you conform to that perception sometimes and not intentionally
Yeah.
early on?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would say so. Definitely phases,
Yeah.
you know. There was phases where I loved being that person,
Yeah.
I'd say. There was phases where I felt being that person, I felt indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that nobody could, say anything or do anything to harm me.
Yeah.
And later on in the years, I learned that no one's invincible.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a harder way than most,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And that was God's plan at the end of the day.
Right.
And everything happens for a reason. You know, I don't, I don't place blame on anybody but myself at the end of the day for the way things, might have turned out, or might have seemed, or might have went at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
But as far as if we're talking about my character, like I said, the people closest to me, the people the most endearing to me, they know who I am. They know my heart. They know what I'm capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And, at the end of the day, that's what matters the most to me.
One thing that kind of got me to like finalize this was I seen a post that you made and you said like the narratives and how you're glad to be corrected by God, and when the time is right, you know he's going to help you through your growing pains. So we just came from church today. What is one thing that you got from today from being present at that service?
That no matter where you're at in your life, God's always in front of you. It doesn't matter if you put him behind you. It doesn't matter if you turn your back to him.
Mm-hmm.
He always puts himself right in front of you, just like you're talking to me at the end of the day. So I can turn my back on him, and he puts himself right in front of me. And with that comes lessons.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna speak to you in one way or another. You may not like the way that he's gonna speak to you. You may not like the way that he's gonna teach you a lesson, but he's gonna be in front of you at all times, and he's gonna lead you, and you have to open up your eyes and see that. You have to open up your eyes and follow that path that he's going to put for you.
Yeah. So how important, let's listen to that. I hear a few things like is how important is it to have a support group of friends that can do the same thing? It seems like, and from what I'm hearing, you may have done that yourself, to other people because of, just some of the phases you were in life. Right. So how important is it? And can you give me like an example of a time where somebody has been there, right? Even in the time where you may have turned your back, and like what you think about that now as, the Sean you are today, as the man you are today.
You know, if we're going to touch on it, I mean, I can go right into the 80 gritty of it.
Yeah.
I was recently put away.
Yeah.
I was put away for 4 months
Mm-hmm.
on a controversial situation. And when you go in a place like that, it doesn't matter how long the time is, you reach your absolute lowest.
Mm-hmm.
You go to your absolute bottom. And you either find your way out or you sink.
Mm-hmm.
And I had two choices at the end of the day, And with that, there was phone calls made. You know, there was days that I'd be sitting in there and I just wanted to hear somebody's voice.
Yeah.
So I'd be dialing. I just wanted to hear someone. I wanted to hear someone tell me it's going to be okay.
Right.
I wanted to hear somebody, you know, answer the phone and be there for me. And, you know, there
Mhm.
was times that I'd call and no one would pick up. Uh, it set a realization for me, to be honest with you, because if you look back and you kind of said it and you look back at me and the things that I've done, I've helped massive amounts of people,
Yes, you have, bro.
and they can, you know, they can say whatever at the end of the day, but I've done a lot for a lot of people in this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely would say it wasn't the same when I was in there, but but that's okay though, because you know, coming out of a place like that, it only makes you realize who needs to be with you
Hmm.
and who doesn't. At
Hmm.
the end of the day, it only makes you realize who you should take the hand of and go on the journey with, or who
Yep.
you should let go of. And that's hard sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean I
It's
don't
so
got,
hard.
yeah, it doesn't mean I don't got
Yeah.
love for those people.
Yeah.
Everybody has, and you know, and not to fault anybody that didn't answer, but you know, everybody has different paths, and people are busy and people are going, you know, on their
The
next
journeys.
thing. Yeah, their
Yeah.
journeys, you know, to become successful. I'm not knocking that at all, you know.
Yeah.
But
It's so hard, man, to let go of, certain things and certain environments because we have this attachment and we have these feelings and emotions and for real like traumas, right? Like I talk to my best friend a lot about like trauma bonding. But at some point when you're going through that breakthrough, you have to let go of these people, of these places, of these memories so that you can actually get on the other side of your healing. And you know, I'm seeing that with you. I'm seeing it doesn't happen. Everybody thinks that this
Rome wasn't built in a day, and
yeah,
it don't
it
happen
doesn't happen
overnight.
like that, man. So, I want to continue to like applaud you and like just give you like, praise for that because, I've been a part of the best days and the worst days with you. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
um you you've always been somebody that I have looked to and been like, we were here. We
Hmm.
get it. So, for the people out there who really don't have that, sometimes you just have to break away from, the normal and go find the new and the journey of life is forever. So like, we're gonna constantly be like evolving and shedding. So that's good, bro. And another thing that, we wanted to talk about was like what is this? Because like we're gonna get into relationships, right?
Hmm.
So like mental health and relationships and like the working on yourself inside of that, how has the subject of like lust versus like love affected you inside of your like mental health and your journey of the things you've been going through?
Wow. That's a great question.
Yeah.
And you know, at the end of the day, we can look back. We can look back at all types of relationships I've been in. Um, my problem is that I was never okay with being alone, so
Mm,
I'd latch. I needed to latch, and I think that the reason for that was at an early age, I was so numb and I was okay with being alone.
yeah.
You know, I phased out of it, and you know, I had an amazing girl. I had a great girl. I had a great relationship, and I let it burn. I let it burn in flames, and I let it dwindle down the drain. And
Can you talk a little bit about like you don't have to say who, but like what happened inside of that for you and some of the things that you were dealing with to where you
I
didn't see it get to its like optimum level.
so I think what really happened is I was still in uh I was still in the phase of I didn't want to I didn't want to necessarily. It's not that I didn't want to necessarily settle down because the girl, she was amazing. She
Yeah.
knew she was amazing.
Yeah.
It literally took somebody. It literally took somebody coming up to me one time and was like, "Oh, I haven't seen you around in a while. I haven't heard about you in a while. I haven't heard this." And I don't know why it like triggered me in a way that like I was nothing, and I shouldn't have thought at a young age. That was I was younger, so
Yeah.
I took that as like, "Oh, I'm nothing." Like what I'm saying, and I think it pushed me in a direction of like kind of pushing this, this girl away from me who was so good for me, who, lived with me, and we were, building future. She was successful. She was independent. You know, we got along great. Everything was good. And, when I let her go and, let everything, go with her, I dwindled back down a toxic path. I started with somebody that I brought in who was a pretty face, and in reality, it was more of a she was damaged, and all
Yeah.
I was doing was giving, 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 and then I went down another toxic path where
Yeah.
I opened up a ex wound, an ex relationship, and that was a fun journey,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Because
Before we get into that, before we get
we
into
know it,
that,
but
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
giving the
yeah,
breakthrough, and
yeah,
I obviously had met somebody else after that even,
yeah.
and someone that I latched onto because I was so hurt, and they
S-
went and hurt me too. So
So when somebody said to you, they haven't seen you around and made you feel like you weren't a part of this group or this like
this
this like
socialite
persona,
status,
yeah, this
yeah, this
persona,
socialite status, yeah.
yeah, and that that comes from me personally because I've been a part, I've felt that before. It comes from not knowing like your self worth and like not really knowing who you are in that time. You know what I mean? So you feel
100%.
like you got to conform to this, especially at a young age. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
definitely.
see all the people, you just want to get back to that. It's just like, it's itch, and once that happens, you're like, man, I gotta feel it again. And we need to talk to the younger men who are feeling that every weekend. You know what I mean? And they want to get out there, they want to party, they want to do this and that, and then they don't take care of their stuff at home with like their relationship. So like, what things do you feel like you should have done in that moment of you having that feeling, and then saying like, nah, like I don't like that part of my life doesn't serve me anymore because you have this, and this is what you really
Oh, I
want.
mean, yeah, that's easy, man. I mean, you go ahead and it's real simple at the end of the day. If you have somebody, at home that's willing to build with you, that believes in you, that's, at your corner,
Mhm.
um, even when you're wrong, but, she's still at your defense, that, you know, wants to look their best for you at all times, doesn't get comfortable in the relationship because at the end of the day, you're going on a date night with your man. You want to look good for your man. You want to show him like, hey, this is what you signed up for. Never getting comfortable in a relationship. When
That's
you
good.
have,
That's good.
yeah, when you have all of that, what else are you really looking for? You have someone that's trustworthy. You have someone that's by your side. You have someone that believes in you. You have someone that shows that they care still,
Yeah.
and they want to look their best for you. You're building.
You
What
know, you
else do
know
you
what I
look
think. You
for?
know what I think happens. I think that we take ourselves out of the relationship, and it becomes more about us in that time. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So like instead of thinking about this relationship or like this, what you really want, you take yourself outside of it, and you just only think about you and about how your ego or pride was struck in that moment because you're not living in this persona anymore,
You're
right?
you're right, but
Yeah.
why? But why? Because you have a beautiful girl right at home. But why do we think like what exactly triggers that? Because you have everything right in front of your face, and you're still not satisfied with
Yeah,
it. And
I think it's the work. I feel like it's the work that let's just say it's a weekend, right? It could be happening on the weekend. The work we're not doing Monday through Friday to where we could just be all over the place, like anxious anxiety, just speeding through our days, and we don't actually take the time to like reevaluate and like sit down with ourselves and maybe meditate. You feel me? Like really focus on ourselves so that we can whenever this opportunity presents itself, we can just say like, "No, I'm good. Like I'm personally good. I don't need that." You get what I'm saying? And I don't think that work is happening within ourselves enough. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
So,
Yeah.
um, what are some of the things that you wish you would have done, like work wise, like shit, even if it's just going to the gym, like what I'm saying. People take cold showers. People, what things do you feel like you should have done in that time?
Real simple. A routine.
Hmm.
You need a routine. If you don't have a routine, you're going to be all over the place. You need to have a set routine. With a set routine, your life becomes 10 times easier. You dodge the anxiety,
Yeah.
you get rid of the anxiousness, you have everything set in play for you. that if you need to add something, all you're doing is just tweaking your schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. And, if you don't have a routine, which I've learned, you're all over the place. It will make you all over the place. So at that time, I didn't have one. And I was flying all over the place from, work to doing music to the gym to helping people to doing, side gigs and everything like that to setting thing up, for my artists, whether I was like, sending them out to do an EP somewhere, or setting up some of like Harlem's, video shoots or something like that. Whatever it may be, it was just constant go, 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 but it was all over the place at all times.
Yeah.
And I had no routine.
Yeah, you weren't focusing on yourself.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, not in the slightest form.
Okay. So let's get into like the invincible trait. Like what gave you that like piece of feeling invincible, and then when did you realize like, oh, I'm not invincible? Like what were the two things that happened there?
I would say, what made me feel like it was the way I walked around as far as, my aura. And, it was clear as day that a lot of the times people had this perception where it was either fear or dislike, and they had their judgments. So since I kept that, chip on my shoulder, since I walked around with it, I loved the feeling of that, of having them have an opinion or think something, but they never approach me. They would never come and actually talk to me or see who I really am.
Yeah.
They would just speak, and you've been a testament to it. We've been friends for a long time, and you've been in your own business ventures, and you've obviously had people reach out to you as to like, why are you friends, or why do you hang, or whatever it may have been, firsthand. And you would always say to them at the end of the day, like, you guys don't even know who he really is at the end of the day. You don't know like the type of person that he really is.
Right.
Like, sit down with him, talk to him, and see the type of person he really is. And a lot of times when people do that, they're kind of like shell shocked. They're kind of like, oh, like it takes them for a whole different vibe than what they had. And I guess where it started cooling off was the phase of me getting into a position where I went down I took a left turn where I wasn't supposed to go. And I took a turn, back into a toxic situation, a toxic relationship.
Were there signs in that time?
There's always signs.
Yeah.
It's just you ignore them. There's always signs. You ignore them because of whatever feeling that you want at that time. And sometimes people ignore those signs because they're going after, one thing. They want
Chasing that feeling.
They're chasing that feeling.
Yeah.
And that's the problem a lot of times with people that fall in love with those toxic relationships. There's always that one thing that whether, brings you back to that person or whatever it may be. It's that person's downfall. If you notice when people are in those type of relationships, they don't ever get better.
Yeah.
They say they are. They say they're going to work on things and everything like that. And I think that's, where I was. I kind of wanted to go into that situation and prove everybody wrong. Everybody had an opinion already. And I wanted to be like, I want this relationship with this person. I want to show someone at the end of the day that if you love somebody so much that you can make it work no matter what, that nothing's going to break that love, that nothing's going to matter at the end of the day, that you can go ahead and make it through anything. And I was in for, a huge surprise. I was in for a ride of my life at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And at that point things happened, and as things transpired and taking their course, more and more stuff started happening. And it was like a downfall of dominoes. It was like a domino effect. That's exactly what it was. It was piece by piece falling, whether it was work related, or with my success in my job, whether it was physically related, whether it was mentally related. It was just one thing after another, and it was just falling. And, someone that can be at the very top, being at the very top of the mountain has it all, whatever you want to look at, whatever you want to say that I have and that I've worked for and
the things you
I'm
can do.
Things I can do, and the positions I've been in, and just just start crashing
Yeah.
down. Just
We talk about that because it doesn't just happen. It's like these, like we said, the red flags and it's the multiple left turns. You know what I mean? People think that it just happens. Like, no, it's these little signs that we're not paying attention to,
100%.
and we ignore it. And then, it's the big fall of you. So, and I think that comes from not having a foundation, like of the relationship. If your relationship doesn't have any type of foundation, no substance, no structure, you know what I mean? It's going to be so easy for those left turns to happen and those red flags to, you know, like literally cause the fall of the relationship. And ultimately, inside of that, you start to deteriorate as a man, because there's no structure, foundation in the relationship. So, if you want to get into like what, transpired after that, because, I know that played a big part in you, going away for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been the talk, and there's been the chitter and the chatter, and unfortunately
A
I
lot of people
was
don't know, bro, what,
you'd be
why
surprised
you were gone for
the
four
things
months.
I've heard, but
Yeah.
I was unfortunately in a situation where I was accused of a domestic violence charge. And you know one thing that you know the people that know me anyways, that they don't take away is, my mother used to be, hit by my father. I actually even got arrested years ago from saving a girl from getting beat up by their significant other at the time, where I like went in the house and saved her out of it, and got arrested for
I
that.
remember that.
Yeah, so I people don't understand, that's not really my true character, but at the end of the day, anything can be said, done, things can happen, whatever. But yeah, I was charged with a domestic violence that, got dropped ultimately down to an assault charge, where it was a misdemeanor. Um, it was one of my first charges, and they wanted to make an example out of me.
Yeah.
And when they made that example out of me, they sent me away. 4 months. They gave me 4 years probation. They gave me a bunch of things.
Mhm.
And of course, in that situation, you go away at first, and you're thinking a million different things. How to go about the situation, what to do next, and everything like that. But when you're sitting there and you're at that lowest point and you're trying to rebuild yourself, what I've learned is forgiveness. I learned to forgive in that situation. I'm not sitting here saying I'm a perfect person at the end of the day. I'm not.
Yep.
I'm not a perfect person. I don't think anybody is. Everybody makes mistakes and everybody has faults at the end of the day. But who are you to judge me on my mistakes and my faults if you have them as well? You know. So inside of there, being more in touch with God, and listening and learning, I practice forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I forgave, that person, and I forgave that person's family for ever putting me in that situation. I forgave them for taking the situation and painting it a way different picture than what really had transpired. At the end of the day, there was two people in that situation, and no one's ever going to know what really happened between me and that person.
Yeah.
If they're okay with that story, so be it. That's fine.
Yeah. How did you forgive yourself though? Like what
I
gave you
haven't
that green light to forgive yourself?
I haven't forgave myself yet, if I'm being completely honest with you. Um, and it's funny you say that, because I was my friend took me to a crystal shop, and this lady, she's like, you're a people reader too, just like me. And I was like laughing, and she was like, I want you to know, like, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be upset, like you're allowed to feel those emotions. And I sat there and I looked at her and I'm like, yeah, thank you. And she's like, yeah. She's like, but why have you not forgave yourself yet? She just randomly said that, and I just sat there, and she was right.
Yeah.
And since I came home, a couple people know, I would text a couple people. It's been a really lonely, hard road, getting your feet settled.
Yeah, man.
Think about it. Before you go into that situation, you have money, you have friends, you have a little swag in your walk, you got a good
Confidence.
job, you have things
Major
lining
confidence.
up, you have, a bunch of opportunities, and, all of a sudden, boom, it's all gone. You come out, it's all gone.
Yeah.
You're restarting. It doesn't matter. Your bills, it's not like your bills got paid while you were
Yeah.
in there. It's not
Don't
like your
stop.
credit didn't take a hit when you got in there. Um, it's not like your car, no, there's an abundance of things, and obviously, my mother did the best that she can at the end of the day. And I was, you know, with someone as well at the time. I was actually dating somebody while I was in there and begging them to hold me down.
Mhm.
And they went and they took $16,000 and left my ass a month and a half in. What
Yeah.
do you call that? You call it that's me being stupid. That's me falling, you know, under pressure and falling under a trap that
Yeah.
I never have
It
before.
sounds like just, confining to whatever was there at the time, and, just kind of conforming to that because that's just what was there.
Yeah, I for sure. I mean, definitely. And I think the only way that I'm going to forgive myself at the end of the day is to continue doing what I'm doing right now, and walking down the path of God and cutting the toxic people out of my life, and
Mhm.
realizing that there's going to be 1,000,001 people that are going to ask you for help. Realize who really deserves it and who really needs it. That doesn't make you a bad person at the end of the day for not helping someone, but really help the person that needs it. Really help the person that deserves it. Really help the person that's going to stand behind you when you're at your lowest, when you don't have anything no more.
Beside you too,
Yeah,
and in front of
yeah,
you.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Be with that person that's gonna stick right there and be your friend, not the
Yeah.
person that's here for the free ride, not the person that's here for the clubs, the bottles, the glitz, the
Mhm.
glamour, the girls, whatever it is. Be
Yeah.
with the
You
person
you need someone who's gonna stand in front of you now, though. Get what I'm saying?
for sure.
Like, you've never been in that position before,
And that's why I said
ever.
God, and that's what's opening my eyes to the Lord so much, because He is always in front of you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And I've surrounded myself with someone as a recent who's a really, really good person. We don't need to get into that, but they're a ball of joy, they're a ball of
Yeah.
energy, and they're a good person. They make me feel happy,
Yeah.
and that's what I've always needed. The funny thing is, bro, is if you really want to look at it at the end of the day, and you want to go ahead and look at relationships and talk about relationships, you know what I only really needed at the end of the day?
But
I just needed someone to really actually look me in the eyes and tell me that they love me
yeah.
and me feel it.
Yeah.
That's all I really ever needed. It wasn't hard. I'm not a hard person to deal with. You can go ahead and ask the abundance of people that I've dated. I'm not hard to deal with.
Mhm.
But to actually look at someone and them look me in the eyes and tell me that they're actually going to be by my side and be there for me, because we can say whatever. I can go ahead and go down the list of girls. I can only name one or two that's actually been there by my side the whole entire time.
Yeah.
So, that's really all I wanted, all I
Yeah.
needed, and all I want right now at the end of the day
I
when the
think
time is
I
right.
think that, that only happens though when you are in the space like this. When you are in the space to receive that love and actually just kind of just be open. Get what I'm saying? To that love. You are more open than you've ever been because of the things that you've just recently went through. And a lot of people continue to close themselves out, and they'll not forgive anybody. They won't take any accountability. So we're doing this here to help other people, and we got to let people know that if they don't open themselves up to that love and don't forgive them, constantly strive to forgive themselves, then there's nothing will be able to come in and help them. Get what I'm saying?
1,000%. And if we want to talk about opening yourself up, just to give people just an example of how much I'm opening up. I spiraled. I spiraled. That last year I spiraled. Jail might have saved my life.
Hmm.
Jail might have saved my life. Honestly,
I remember you
I
said that before.
I spiraled. I went out of control. Whether it was partying, whether it was going out. I was going. I don't even really like drinking or going out. I
Yeah,
was going out more than that. I stopped playing sports. I
yeah.
stopped lifting for a little bit.
Hmm.
I stopped caring.
That's
Everything
one
else,
thing people don't really know about you. Like
yeah.
you don't like to party for real.
No, I
Yeah,
don't. I'm not a
yeah,
fan of it at all.
yeah,
No, but I spiraled, man.
yeah. I remember though when I called when we talked on the phone, and
When I was
I
in
was,
there.
yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, bro, I've never heard you sound this good before. I for real, it touched it before you even said like Joe saved you. I'm like, this was perfect, and like you said, God has a plan. And when I was on the phone with you, I heard your voice and I heard your energy and I heard your spirit, and I said, man, when he come out, it's gonna be Sean 2.0.
Yeah,
I mean, so
1000%.
the world is about to get the best version of you that they've ever received, and you're about to, be given abundance of love, life, money, joy, better friends, better family, better experiences. As long as you continue to,
Stay on the path, 100%. At the end of
yeah,
the day,
and evolve your path too,
right,
bro. Not
and
just stand on it, but evolve it,
and
and bring people with you and allow yourself to be brought up.
and at the end of the day, I don't think at the end of the day I won't settle for nothing less. I still have my little demeanor about me that I'm never gonna fail.
Yeah.
I don't care how many people have wanted me to rot in there. I don't care how many people wanted me to drop, fail in there. That doesn't phase me. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't define anything for me. It's an opinion at the end of the day.
Hmm.
And if I believed in half the opinions about me, I promise you right now, me and you wouldn't be talking right now
Right.
because I
Exactly.
would not be here.
Yeah.
And I busted my ass for everything I have in my life. Little do people know I worked so hard and busted my ass and did everything that I possibly could do to get to the position I'm in. And if you think that some stuff like that, even though it took me out and put me under, nah, that just made me 10 times stronger at the end of the day. So
Yes,
you're
it did,
absolutely
bro.
right. So I'm gonna come back with a huge chip on my shoulder, but you know what? In that process of having that chip on my shoulder, I'm gonna be alert and I'm
Yeah.
gonna be humble and I'm not gonna do the whole. It doesn't. I don't need the whole 1-2 of everything. All I
Yeah.
need at the end of the day is the love of my family, the love of somebody else when that person comes in, the friends, the good friends that are with me,
Hmm.
and for everybody to At the end of the day, I wish everybody happiness, health, and just to have a good spirit.
Hmm.
Going through life
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And that's what I want for everybody. But whoever's going to be in my circle, that I'm going to make sure that they have that with me.
Yep.
At the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, bro. Well, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on here and opening yourself up with me so that we can not only have this conversation and, you able to get some things off, but this is a space to where we're going to take this and help somebody else, in their journey of life and things they're going through. So I just want to thank you, bro, for being a good friend to me. And
I want to thank you for picking up while I was in there,
oh
man. It meant
man,
the world to
of
me,
course, bro.
obviously, at the end
I
of
wish you would
the
have
day.
called more. I wish you'd have
But
called me more.
it only got a certain time limit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There's certain
yeah,
times of the day you
yeah,
can get on them, and it's a hustle,
yeah,
it's a tussle to get on them
yeah.
phones in there.
You always picked up my phone call whenever I needed, whenever I was going through, my
I
stuff.
always will.
Always,
And
bro.
I
So,
always will.
you
And
know,
I want to say one last thing at the end of the day. If you're someone that's out there and you're afraid to speak and afraid to talk, I really hope that my outlet and me, sharing and experiencing the things that I have helps you at the end of the day. Like I said, mental health is something that's, for men is something that's frowned upon. It's
hmm
something that, we have to walk around all the day like we're macho.
yeah, it makes
And
people think we weak when we talk about
yeah,
our mental health.
and
So,
it doesn't make you less of a man at the end of the day to come on and share your feelings and talk to somebody and get help. So I really hope that if you are someone that's struggling, even if you want to reach out to me and I don't even know you and you see hear this podcast, I'd love to hear your story, and it would stay in the confinement of a box with me and that no one else has to know, just for you can go ahead and get it out there, because more people need to speak on this and more people need to go ahead, talk, and share what they're feeling nowadays.
that's right. That's
You
right. Thank you,
dig?
brother. Love you.
Love you too, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. See you on the next episode. This is the Nest.